the man.
I'm the machine!
That's right, man versus machine, back at it. It is week 2 already. Week 1's in the books. We don't talk about week 1. It's rookie mistakes for fantasy analysts if there are already a week 1 review. No one cares about week 1 anymore, Wyatt. We are on to week 2. We are giving you the fantasy advice that is forward thinking, that is innovative. Behind these glasses, the man, the machine are already doing the projections for week 2, giving you the advice to bounce back if you lost in week 1 or continuing to crush if you defeated your opponent and you remain undefeated entering week 2. Wyatt, in the pre-show meeting, you were gloating a little bit. Your leagues are shining. Your record is spotless. How does it feel, Mr. Man? Crushing week 1.
Spotless, I don't know, but I was doing the actual count right before we started, and across my 21 leagues, 15-6 during week 1. So hard to complain about that.
Delicious. Yes. It's really nice when I like how DraftKings does it, because I feel like I have actually a good gauge of whether I'm profitable or not. All the other leagues, I'm like, sure, maybe. Like, at least DraftKings, I'm able to tell. But nevertheless, the best ball streets have been very kind to me in there, despite. So my highest exposures have been to Cincinnati and to Minnesota, who kind of poo-pooed, in week 1, and I'm still profitable in DraftKings. So I'm feeling pretty good entering, in thinking about a bounce back for both teams. We saw flashes. I don't think that Cincinnati is going to be as bad moving forward. But we're not dwelling on week 1. We're not going to do it, Wyatt. I'm resisting the temptation. We are going to get into trade targets. Now, tonight, yes, these are players we're either targeting to get on our teams or targeting to get off of our teams. We want to trade them away. These are sell highs, players that, yes, we saw them spike in week 1, but it's not believable that they will return the type of value rest of season. We think we can get some really nice value for these players. I'll kick us off, Wyatt, and then the man will give us his first player. My first player is Travis Hunter. I want to trade for Travis Hunter. The amount of targets that this guy got in week 1, there was chatter about, is he going to play defense? Yes, he played a couple snaps on defense, but he out-targeted. It was clear that he was running alongside Brian Thomas, and it's going to be a 1A, 1B scenario the rest of the season, it sounds like. The only concern, I think, and maybe this is something that you can shed some light on too, is Trevor Lawrence, is this going to be the level up for Trevor Lawrence, or is he going to level down these wide receivers? I think that's the major question, but it's clear week 1, the Jaguars wanted to get Brian Thomas and Travis Hunter pretty equally involved in the targets. They're running the full complement of routes. I'm happy with this right off the bat, and if anyone in your leagues is still panicked on Travis Hunter because he didn't have a massive spike week in week 1, like, this is a player that has the pathway to be a winner in the future. So I'm betting on the talent, and I'm betting on the scheme right off the bat.
I don't feel quite the same, but it's because I'm afraid that the price we're going to try and get is just not going to be available for us. The people who drafted Travis Hunter, I think the prevailing thought is anyone who drafted Travis Hunter is pretty happy with how week 1 went, just based on the target volume. And they know that, like, if it wasn't for that incredible one-hand interception by J.C. Horn, like, Travis Hunter would have had a massive day. So I'm afraid that even if you went to try and get him, like, the door's just going to get shut in your face because people aren't going to want to trade him away. And I have enough worry about the Jaguars offense that I'm not super pumped about it. I did, tweeted like right before the season, like, all right, truth serum take. I think there's a good chance that, like, the Jaguars offense just fails us other than Brian Thomas because of the offensive line. And if we don't get improved quarterback play from Trevor Lawrence, I don't know, man. So while, like, I think what you're saying in theory is good. Like, I think that Travis Hunter could be very good, especially down the line as the season goes on. I'm not sure if it's going to be an appropriate price to me.
argue with the stats. The machine has got the numbers, Wyatt. Number 11 in week 1 in target rate. Number 1 wide receiver in designed targets. He was a top 10 wide receiver in red zone target share, designed to target share. This is they intentionally schemed for him right off the bat. And yeah, you're gonna have down days, you're gonna have good days, but maybe the people who drafted Travis Hunter are box score watchers and not necessarily, the man perspective where, oh yes, if it wasn't for this one film, bro, JC Horn's amazing play, then it's going to be taken. Like, if you got the box score watchers, like most people do, they might not. They might not. The casual user, Wyatt, but the casual users aren't all on. They're not all watching. We've got some pretty good.
If the person in your league who has Travis Hunter is worried by week 1 or shares some of the sentiment that I just shared, then yeah, I mean, see what the price is, right? There's no harm in trying to find out the price. I'm just afraid that whoever drafted Travis Hunter, they drafted him because they were really excited for him, and that's not changing from this week.
All right, Wyatt. I've offered one of my trade targets. Give me a player that you either want to trade for or trade away.
Now, I'm going to bring up this one because I don't know what I want to do yet, and I want your perspective on it too. Ooh. And that first one is Kenneth Walker.
Oh, because, I hate you.
Because this is one where I honestly am having trouble making up my mind on, because I think in a vacuum going into the season, and I still believe it now, that Kenneth Walker is more talented running back compared to Zach Charbonnet.
Yes.
I think that he's just capable of things that Charbonnet is not, essentially. Now, we know that he was dealing with an injury coming into the season, and then we got this split in week 1. And the way the split kind of worked is that they were more or less getting drives to themselves, yes. And the Charbonnet drives went for longer than the Walker drives did. Now, you could say that is a reason to like Charbonnet, but I would say that's not all on his shoulders that those drives lasted longer than Walker's drives did. Walker still ended up with more opportunities, though Charbonnet played more snaps because of those long drives. Are they going to continue to do this split, or is it because Walker was coming into the season with injury that they did this split? I'm having trouble trying to decide which one of those things is really happening, because I said this last year, and I should have thought about it again this year, is that when a new coaching staff comes in, they're going to have different thoughts on the players on that roster than the coaching staff before them. And I use this as a reason why Kenneth Walker could get improved receiving usage last year, and that came to fruition. But when new coaching staff came in this year, I was just like, oh yeah, Kenneth Walker. We just know that he does all the things now. And now I'm starting to think like maybe I should have taken my own advice from last year and applied it to this year and said, this is new coaching staff, so we don't know how they feel about them. And just because we think that Kenneth Walker fits this system extremely well doesn't mean that they think that he's much better than Charbonnet. So I guess I want to know what you think.
I think that Kenneth Walker is the more talented player. I think that you slow roll a player like him. He is your bell cow. He's historically been a 15 per carry per game guy. Last year, a little bit inefficient, but his ceiling is like 5 yards a carry. We've never seen Charbonnet go more than about 4.2, 4.3 in a season. They both have second round draft capital, but Kenneth Walker's question come as a player coming into the NFL was, can he catch passes? And that was Charbonnet was able to do that. That wasn't the question. And now it's almost like role reversal, where we saw 4 targets in week 1 for Kenneth Walker and no targets for Zach Charbonnet. Now, again, small sample size. I'm still a believer in Kenneth Walker's talent is greater than Zach Charbonnet's. I think there is a legit injury slow play rollout, and I'm not worried. I'm not pressing the panic button yet. If there is someone who's panicking, great. Give me a chance at Kenneth Walker. You may not get a chance at Kenneth Walker later. Yes, there's a new offensive coordinator, but the head coach is the same, right? They may have some turnover, but I don't think that there was such a full scale turnover that, yeah, Kenneth Walker's on his way out situation. This isn't like a Brian Robinson situation where he's going to get pushed out by another running back behind him. And we don't have Bill Krosky Merritt on the list that we're going to talk about, but this is not this scenario. Like, Kenneth Walker came into the NFL and we knew he was a really good running back. Second round draft capital. There was conversation of whether he should be a first round draft capital running back. But now, like last year, he had 46 receptions in 11 games. So this is a player that's proven now in a system that can catch passes. He was a top 12 running back last year in terms of fantasy points per game for PPR. And the games that Charbonnet played well, it was when Kenneth Walker was out. So it wasn't like this was I think the first time that Kenneth Walker was healthy. Supposedly healthy, that Charbonnet out rushed him. So maybe that premise is false. And I think you hit on it, that there's still that injury concern. So I'm looking to get some Kenneth Walker if there's someone who is feeling that Charbonnet, is the guy, because I don't think he's the guy. And I also think that, like, his dog mentality, like we talk again about profile and like long-term, whether that type of player can last. I don't think Charbonnet fits the longer lasting profile of a running back for like season long, especially with a Kenneth Walker in the backfield.
I think I lean the same way, that I'm more interested in getting Kenneth Walker right now. I would guess that the prices dropped significantly based on week one. San Francisco did some interesting things too against the Seattle defense. Like, they would shift the defensive line right before the snap to throw off the zone blocking scheme, so that like the offensive lineman got thrown off who they're supposed to block and whatnot. Fred Warner was like running like a madman to break up that zone running scheme. I think that I want to be buying Kenneth Walker, and that I believe that they may have been working him in a little bit slowly because of the injury coming into the season. But to put it in perspective, like, if I could trade my Travis Etienne for Kenneth Walker now based off of week one, I'm probably going to do that. Something along those lines. Like, can I sell a running back who performed well in week one, who I had ranked significantly different going into the season,
Okay, Chuba Hubbard or Kenneth Walker?
Chuba.
I think that's fair.
I only had Chuba a little bit behind Kenneth Walker going
Sure.
into the season, so this is enough,
Sure, week one I think did at least raise an eyebrow, but if it raises both eyebrows for somebody, I think that's where the buy situation happens.
Yeah.
Another player that I want to be targeting in trade. Hopefully that satisfies you, Wyatt. Hopefully that satisfies you.
That was good.
Good. Tet McMillan is a player that I want to get in on. It's clear Jalen Coker is out on IR. Adam Thielen is on the Vikings. And who else is left? Like, Tet McMillan, if he had, once again, the film bros are kind of gonna come back and say, oh, he almost came down with an amazing catch, and he didn't. But this is where the machine and the man are, I think, going to be in alignment, where you have this alpha of alphas dominating in week one of targets. And yeah, maybe there's some, again, Bryce Young concerns, like these organizational concerns, but Tet McMillan is going to get a 30+% target share for the season. I mean, we look just even in week one, 26.5% target share. He was number 23 in target rate. I think that's going to go up, when he, as the season progresses. So his floor right now is like top 24 wide receiver. He finished as wide receiver 30 on the week. He's just going to continue to get targets, 9 targets, 5 receptions, 68 yards. Yeah, he didn't get a touchdown, but you put a touchdown there, and we're talking about a top 12 week. So I'm in on Tet McMillan as a buy low, especially because he didn't put up the touchdown. It's a modest receiving yards, but I'm really encouraged by the targets, and there's no other target competition really moving forward. And even if you say in 3 more weeks, Jalen Coker will be ready, suppose he's not. And is Jalen Coker really going to be the reason why first-round pick Tet McMillan doesn't hit? No. So, and by that time, he's established 4 weeks of really strong consistency of 26 to 35% target shares with Bryce Young. So yes, I want Tet McMillan.
Yeah, you're not going to get any pushback from me on Tet McMillan at all. I had him as a top 24 wide receiver going into week 1, and I don't think anything happened to change me off of that. I think he had like just good enough, but just bad enough of a game that like I recognize that things are going well for him, but it's just bad enough of a game that people might not be as excited as I am about him. But I think the target share is going to be strong throughout the season. When Jalen Coker gets back, I don't think it takes away from him at all. I think it just takes away from the other people. Like we've done enough Xavier Leggett. We can just finish up with that. Move on from that. So no pushback here. I love Tet McMillan. Go out and get him.
But we have a question in the chat, Wyatt. Trade Mika Egbuka for Tet McMillan. Whoo! Egbuka had almost the same stat line, but he had 2 touchdowns. That's a major difference. And there's target competition in Tampa. Mike Evans is always going to get his 20 to 23% target share. Chris Godwin could be back in 4 weeks. For those who haven't kept up with the Chris Godwin saga, he's expected to return around week 5, whether it is on week 5 or around week 5. He's not on the pup. He can be active at any time, but they're targeting week 5. So we could get 4 full weeks of Emeka Egbuka. Are you trading Egbuka for Tet McMillan?
This one is super tough. I think just like if I could be confident that Bryce Young would be an average quarterback all season, I think I would just say Tet pretty easily, because I think he just has a much more consistent and easy projectable volume than Emeka Egbuka does have for the Buccaneers. But he has this significantly better quarterback and offensive surroundings, which makes it really tight. I probably would not put a Egbuka over Tet yet for the rest of the season. I would probably keep Tet McMillan in this scenario. That's a tough one. It's like picking between my 2 sons.
That is really tough. I drafted a lot of Egbuka and paired him with Baker because it was such an easy click. It was like round 6, round 7, clickety clicks, before Egbuka hype went ballistic in August. So Egbuka was gettable in August, and he was much less so before August. He was much less available during August, easier to get in July and June. So trading Egbuka for McMillan, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do it. All right,
let's get this other trade question here in the chat too.
We do. In the meantime, Dennis Rodriguez said, we're amazing and beautiful people. We love you, Dennis. Lonely Stoner 401. Shout out to you. Appreciate you in the chat. Would you trade Zay Flowers for any one of these guys? So some running backs we see here. RJ Harvey, who had, some spike rushes. Kenneth Walker, who we talked about earlier at length. DeAndre Swift, who manhandled volume in Chicago in week 1, or the highest rated PFF graded rusher from week 1, Bill Krosky Merritt. Is it trade Zay Flowers for any of these guys? I mean, I hate to be the guy, Wyatt, and it depends on your league and who you have and blah blah blah.
It does play in here.
But if you are trying to target any one of these running backs, that tells me that you need running back, right? You wouldn't ask this question if you had a range of running backs that you were choosing from because you had a need at that running back 2 spot. I think the spike ceiling, this is my take. I think the spike ceiling exists with Bill Krosky Merritt. I would.
That's
I'd,
one for you.
I'd be willing to, if I really needed that running back, and I had a plethora of wide receivers. I mean, sure, in a vacuum, let's go with it. Of these 4, give me Krusky Merritt.
Yeah, assuming you need a running back and you are flush at wide receiver, and that's why you were asking this question, I actually wouldn't have a problem with trading for probably all of them except maybe Bill. Maybe I'm just the bear on Bill here, but Austin Eckler was playing ahead of him for most of that game, and he got the touchdown, which was nice. Don't get me wrong, and then he cleaned up towards the end of the game.
Sure.
I do think that Bill has a ceiling to him, a little bit unknown ceiling. I'm not sure that I would take him over any of those other running backs. But yeah, if I had to order them for myself, I'm probably trading Flowers for, in order, Harvey. Actually, the way it's listed, Harvey, Kenneth Walker, DeAndre Swift, Bill Krosky. I think Harvey's going to get a lot more work as the season goes on, and I think he's really talented.
See, I think that like the same narrative can go for Krosky Merritt.
Sure.
But I think J.K. Dobbins is greater than Austin Eckler. And
sure.
probably
I think that Harvey's a better player than Bill Krosky.
I mean, sure. But the domino to fall, I think in a vacuum, like that's true. I think that Harvey is more talented, but like thinking about the domino to fall, all you need, there's a million different pathways for Austin Eckler to fail, whether it's by injury, by age apex, by Krosky just outplaying him over the next couple games. I think the pathway is very large for that. I think it's very hard to see J.K. Dobbins fail in Denver right away, or even over the next 4 or 5 weeks. So the volume would have to come for Harvey in the passing game for him to pay off, or just like a couple enormous runs. And those are within the range of outcomes for Harvey, but I think the pathway for secure volume on a better offense, that's why I think the argument for Krosky over Swift is that I think Washington's offense is better than the Bears. So
I agree with Washington offense better than the Bears for sure. Bill also not a pass catcher. Even if Eckler goes down, I highly doubt he's absorbing that role.
Yeah, they may just use Debo in that role.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, because Chris Rodriguez is also not pass catching material type.
Yeah.
We've got a lot more trades. We're going to come back to the trades here in just a moment. We've talked about Travis Hunter. We've talked about Kenneth Walker. We've talked about Tet McMillan. We've got another player for you, Wyatt. Hit us with your next trade target. Should we be targeting this player in a trade, or should we be trading him away?
We are going out and trading for Harold Fannin. This was a very impressive rookie game. I don't know if there's a single bad thing we could say about Fannin at this point. Like, he's the most prolific tight end scorer in college football history. He just did it in the MAC, which is part of the reason why he went in the 3rd round. He's also duck-footed, which makes him run weird, and that looks weird, like at the combine, and perhaps he's not as fast on time speed as everyone would like him to be. He's a little small.
He's still 67th percentile 40-yard dash and 50th percentile speed
fine
score.
enough. Fine enough. And he's one of these players who is obviously faster on the field than he is in time speed. Like, just his play speed is very good. He's also very good with the ball in his hands. The Browns immediately made him part of their game plan in week 1. He was was the center point of their passing offense. He lined up across the field. He was lined up in the backfield, inline tight end, in the slot, out wide. Already has a connection with Joe Flacco. Yeah, I mean, it's I'm having like a hard time keeping him out of my top 10 rest of the season, and I think like that's where the conversation starts, because one of the better things about this is like David Njoku is still playing at a high percentage.
Right.
This is just now part of the offense in addition to whatever David Njoku is doing. This isn't like a competition between them.
This is the Elijah Moore role, only better Elijah Moore.
Yeah, I mean, basically, Harold Fannin is their starting slot wide receiver, but he's going to get moved around. He even got a Wildcat QB opportunity in the game. Like, they love him, obviously. He's obviously a very good player. Yeah, I'm trying to go out and get Harold Fannin on my teams. Luckily, I had a couple places where I was able to get him off of waivers. But, like, I think maybe, like, the conversation's probably over David Njoku. I could argue over Tucker Kraft. These are top 10 tight ends we're talking about. So, yeah, go out and get yourself some Harold Fannin.
Fannin, week 1, number 2 in tight end targets, number 8 in target share, 7 in target rate, number 3 in designed targets, number 5 in air yard share, number 5 in air yard share, number 5 in air yard share, 65 air yards for a tight end. I mean, it's partly that Joe Flacco is running the show. He knows how to get the ball to his guys. And I mean, Harold Fannin, such a good looking guy too. If you guys haven't checked out his profile picture, that beard is something. Why it's like, yes, the beard is something. In Dynasty, he just turned 21 years old.
Yeah.
He just turned 21. So yeah, he was a 3rd round pick, and you probably got him in round 3 of your Dynasty drafts. He was, he's a trade target. Like right off the bat, there's room for him in this offense. Deontay Johnson was cut. There's no other. Jamari Thrash is not a thing. Like it's Jerry Jeudy, it's Cedric Tillman, it's David Njoku, and Harold Fannin. That's it.
Yeah.
So
easy peasy.
There we go. We love it. All right. We're going to talk about Hollywood Brown, and then we'll take a break, because Hollywood Brown is a player that you may have had to, in desperation, throw into your flex in larger leagues and been like, I just need some points. And then you ended up with a guy who had 16 targets and 99 yards. Here's the bad thing. Outside of that broken play, guys, Hollywood Brown was averaging like 5 yards a catch, which is not going to get it done for fantasy. Patrick Mahomes, yeah, he got some nice touchdowns, a couple. That's the thing, is there were a few broken plays in this game against the Chargers. So yeah, the stat line looks nice for Mahomes at the end. The fantasy points added up. But Hollywood Brown got 16 targets and 99 yards. You like the target share. You don't like almost anything else you saw coming out of this Chiefs game. Now you've got Xavier Worthy, who isn't practicing. We don't expect him to play in week 2. That's not official, but like given the reports, I don't expect him to play. This type of injury is at least a 3-weeker based on how they're approaching it, but a 50% chance of re-injury, Wyatt. So that's what the fantasy docs are telling us. That's a concern. Is Hollywood just doesn't have the juice that he used to, and he's on an offense that he needs to be the focal point. Unfortunately, he doesn't. He's not the elevator, and now there's rumblings that the Chiefs could trade for a wide receiver.
Yeah, I'm not into Hollywood Brown. I just don't think he's that good at this point in his career, unfortunately. And while like he might be useful for the next few weeks while the injuries are going on, I don't think Worthy's going to be playing for at least another month. Marquise Brown, he's going to get a high target share. It's going to be ugly. He's going to be wide receiver 2 for the next couple of weeks. But I would be trying to take this opportunity to move on from him and try to, see what type of wide receiver you can actually get for him. Maybe try for Terry McLaurin. I don't know. Like maybe people are that down on Terry McLaurin after Deebo Samuel did his thing in week 1, and people are worried about Terry McLaurin season long. Maybe then you can try and get up to Terry McLaurin. Maybe you see about a Devonta Smith if someone is desperate after the no-show from Devonta Smith in week 1. I don't think these are trades that are going to get done in all the leagues. But these are what I'm saying. Like you should start going for with Marquise Brown and then start working your way down. It's probably, I'd have to get down to like, actually, I'm going down pretty far before I find somebody. Like I'd work my way down to Michael Pittman, before I would stop trying to sell Marquise Brown. I think like once we get into like
that's called a foreshadowing. That's called a foreshadowing. Okay, so stick around for the second half of the podcast. But yes, keep going, Michael Pittman.
Yeah, but I think that's where like the cutoff line for me around that area of when you're trying to sell Marquise Brown is you work down trying to get like a better wide receiver. At that point, I'd rather just hold on to Marquise Brown for the time being.
Love it. Love it. We're here for it. We are also, here for trading away Hollywood Brown. We are sellers. Sell high. See what you can get for Hollywood. After we get back from the break, we're going to talk some Daniel Jones, talk some Breece Hall, Deebo Samuel. Right after this.
Hey, I love fantasy football. I love card collecting. And there is a new innovator in the fantasy space, which I also love, called Game Blazers, that is combining the joy of ripping packs with the joy of fantasy sports. And it's a free-to-play game. We're talking about $35,000 every week in guaranteed prizes, $750,000 total this year. They're going to be giving out in guaranteed prizes in a free-to-play game. Go to GameBlazers.com. The code is PLAYER100. PLAYER100 gets you a $100 deposit match at Game Blazers. You go there, you sign up for free, you start ripping packs, and then jump into their mini games. You get some experience points, you upgrade your cards, and then boom, 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 you're set up to exploit a new fantasy game with lots of guaranteed money. Go to GameBlazers.com. The code is PLAYER100 for that $100 deposit match, and you can thank me later.
Welcome back, Bradley and Wyatt here with you on Man versus Machine.
The man. I'm the machine.
That's right. That's right. Man versus Machine, talking must-have trade targets for week 2. And the chat is blowing up. We love the chat. Shout out to the chat. They are our favorites. We love getting the chat questions. We're going to answer some before we get into a few more trade targets. We've already answered Egbuka for McMillan. So rest of season, JJ McCarthy, shout out to you, Michael Rasmussen, JJ McCarthy, Justin Fields, or Drake May. I have a combination of 3 in multiple leagues. Wyatt, I already know where you're leaning. The pre-show meetings, if you guys have been following Man versus Machine for some time, we already kind of know where Wyatt's head is in this space, but maybe week 1 changed it a little bit. How are you approaching this triumvirate, this trinity of quarterbacks?
Quickly say I think it's between Fields and May because they just have the higher rushing volume.
Sure.
Simply, I think that just settles that. And then coming into the season, it was very easily May for me. It is obviously closer because the Jets offense looked very good and Justin Fields looked very good.
Yes.
But I think I'm still going to lean May slightly because I do think that May is a better player than Fields. May.
All right. May, yes. If you're, we're not playing best ball. We're picking which one to start. Like Fields, I think still has the highest ceiling of these 3 by far, but May probably has the higher 75th percentile outcome, if that like regular outcome. And then JJ McCarthy, it's going to take a couple weeks, I think. And we even saw that throughout the game. Like he looked skittish in the first half of the Monday night game against Chicago. The offensive line was doing him no favors either. So I think McCarthy does get better throughout the season. I think they do ramp up the passing more, but we're going to see over the next couple weeks that pass rate over expectation be pretty low. Probably in the negatives like it was in week 1, at least for the first few weeks. So yeah, I'll probably lean May as well. Although we need more Travion Henderson. That would make me feel better, Wyatt, if we
It's
had
coming.
more
It's
Travion
coming.
Henderson. Jason Ortiz, Sticky Ricky with no Brock Purdy. That's right. We are not expecting Brock Purdy to be active for week 2. He's dealing with multiple injuries. So no Purdy. Jaden Reed, I assume it's Jaden Reed, and Khalil Shakir.
Pearsall.
Yeah, let's go. Mac Jones showed something last year for the Jaguars.
And there's no one else to catch the passes for San Francisco.
Jennings is dealing with an injury. Kittle is out on IR. Ayuk is still out. It's McCaffrey and Ricky Pearsall on that offense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Russell Gage if he's activated. Let's see. 3 wide receivers. He's locking in Terry McLaurin, Cortland Sutton, and London. He's got to pick 2 flexes out of Pollard, Swift, Myers, and Judy.
Yeah, scoring would influence this a little bit here for me because in full PPR, I think I'm starting Jacoby Myers out of that group.
Jacoby Myers is a must start.
If this is half PPR, you could talk me into the running backs being the picks. If it's full PPR, I'm trying to get Myers in there and probably Pollard. Pollard and Swift is pretty close, though. What do you think?
It was a little discouraging. The Judy week 1. I still want more Judy. I think that we're going to get more Judy, but Myers is a must pick, and Swift I think for week 2. That's how I'd lean.
Okay, yeah.
Start 1: Chubb, Warren, Pittman, and Waddle.
Ooh.
Again, I don't think we can have confidence with Jalen Waddle. He's out for me. I think I'd go Pittman in full PPR and Chubb in half and standard.
My lean was Pittman if it's full PPR and Jalen Warren if it's half.
I feel
I don't want to start. I don't want to ever put Chubb in my lineup this year. If I'm doing that, I feel like I've got bigger problems.
Well, given that, it looks like he has some problems. Okay. Cool. I traded Geno and JCM for RJ Harvey. I assume it's a 1 quarterback league.
And you have another QB. I have no issue here.
I'm getting dive bombed by spiders in my basement. It's all good. Okay. Pickens and Troy Franklin. And a 3rd for AJ Brown and a 7th.
AJ Brown for me.
Yeah, I think that's still too far of a fall for AJ Brown. So, yeah, give me AJ Brown. I'm trying to get AJ Brown. Yeah, let's get AJ Brown. Pickens and Ollie Gordon for AJ Brown.
AJ Brown.
Yeah, still we'll do that. He needs 2 touchdowns from David Njoku on Sunday. Good luck, Jimmy.
My best ball bags could use them.
Should I trade Kenneth Walker and Garrett Wilson for Amarian Hampton and Cortland Sutton?
I saw this one, and this one read to me like, which position do you need to be stronger at? Do you need to be stronger at wide receiver? Do you need to be stronger at running back?
Right.
So
and
that's my answer. Garrett Wilson, if you want to be stronger at wide receiver, Amarian Hampton.
I was very happy with Garrett Wilson's week 1. I think I got a lot of confidence from that performance. Yeah. So probably no. I'm still going Amarian Hampton and Cortland Sutton. I'm going
just straight up.
No ifs, ands, or buts. We're going that way. Okay, we answered that one. We're flying through these. This is great. Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Travis Etienne, or Tet McMillan, pick 3. So essentially, which one are we not starting?
I'm not going to play Tyreek.
I'm not going to play Tyreek. The NFL said that they are investigating him for domestic violence yet again. And he did not have a great week 1. Tua looks bad. This Miami Dolphins team just has bad vibes. Do you know the sports books? I'm stalling for you right now, Wyatt. Do you know if the sports books have put up first coach to be fired for 2025? Because
they'd have to pull it immediately because they would just have to put McDaniel, like everyone would just bet McDaniel.
Yikes. Yeah. So that vibes are bad in Miami. So get me out of Tyreek Hill. Zach Wilson season may be upon us sooner rather than later. Or Quinn Ewers. We might get some Quinn Ewers.
Even worse.
Need help starting week 2. Pick one for one wide receiver, one flex. So Rome, Keenan, Hollywood, Pacheco, Benson. Gross.
I'm starting Hollywood and Keenan. It's the wide receivers. I'm not starting these running backs.
Yeah, no running back. Pacheco looks garbage, and
Hollywood
Trey Benson is still stuck behind James Conner. So yeah,
Hollywood, it's going to be ugly, but he's the one I'm starting for sure out of this group, and then deciding between Rome and Keenan Allen.
The game could really get into a shootout in week 2 for Rome and Dunze. So give me Rome and Keenan.
There you
go. Okay. Any news of Judkins? We're expecting him to practice tomorrow based on how practice goes. He may play on Sunday. Even if he plays, though, Wyatt, I'm not putting him in my lineup unless I am in a super deep league, extra desperation, blah, blah, blahs. I'm not looking to start Judkins in week 2 no matter what.
Yeah. A big agree there. He might practice this week. He might play this week. Don't feel confident this week. It's coming, but not yet.
Not yet. How confident? Hey, it's Joey. We love Joey. How you doing, Joey? How confident are we in Cedric Tillman rest of season? I'm very confident as long as Joe Flacco is the quarterback.
Yeah. For the last 5 full games that Cedric Tillman has played with Jerry Jeudy, Cedric Tillman has outscored him.
Oh!
So, yeah. It's almost like someone was trying to say that Cedric Tillman was a really good late round pick all offseason.
Should have been listening to Wyatt, but also it felt like Cedric Tillman was mispriced solely because you were drafting him so late. If he if he was a 0, it didn't do anything to you. But if he showed what he showed for the 4 weeks or 3 weeks that he was active and crushed it in 2024, you were getting an absolute steal. You're getting a top 24 wide receiver late.
It's the Travis Fulgham effect. People, think he was next Travis Fulgham. But no, I mean, he's just a solid player.
Do you know who Player Profiler's comp is for
Nico Collins?
Nico Collins, baby. There we go. Cedric Tillman, Nico Collins.
I may have looked at his profile like several hundred times.
You love to see it. Okay. Last one, and then we'll get into our. We've been taking lots of trade questions. This is great. People are here for the trade targets. This is a trade show.
We appreciate everyone.
We made it a trade show today. We talked about trade targets. Thoughts on Trey Benson? Just dropped Joe Mixon for him. Put Godwin on my IR. I think that's the right move.
Yeah, I like that move. I still think that Trey Benson, maybe as a player, has some weaknesses that are pretty glaring.
Vision.
Yeah, his visions are rough. He just needs to get onto the outside and use his speed and be a straight line runner that way, basically. But he can do that, and it's like a decent pass catcher. It was a little bit interesting that he got as many opportunities as he did in conjunction with James Conner this week. But I still think no matter what, he's more just handcuffed than anything. I don't know if he'll actually have standalone value, but he is for sure the handcuff there for Arizona, which is valuable. And Mixon might not even see him.
We might not see Joe Mixon this year. Isn't that wild? That's wild. It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
All right. We've answered lots of trade questions. It's time for Wyatt to give us another trade target for week 2. Are we trading away Deebo Samuel or are we trading for Deebo Samuel?
We are trading away.
Ho
ho! It is an outstanding week from Deebo Samuel in week 1. I think we have to place into context Terry McLaurin's holdout and how that affects the beginning of the year. It is no surprise to me that Terry McLaurin had a rough week 1, and I expect him to start a little slow. But I do think that Terry McLaurin is the wide receiver 1 for Washington. I expect that to happen. It's sooner rather than later, him taking over that target share again. And because of Deebo's history and play style,
yes,
he's someone I'm never going to feel comfortable having on our roster because I don't know when I'm going to lose him. Now, I understand when we lose a player to injury, we don't take zeros. We can replace them with somebody. Sure. But because vibes for Deebo Samuel are pretty high right now. You know, he looked good. He got a really good stat line. I think you could probably sell pretty high on him, and that's why he's a sell for me. Like, I think like if you can go out and get an Emeka Egbuka, that one's wrong because everyone's
be
so
still
high.
My heart. Be still. You're gonna send me to cardiac arrest here,
But
Wyatt.
basically anyone like top 24 wide receiver, I'm probably just in. You know, Devontae Adams, see what that's for. I might even take like DK Metcalf over him. You know, hell, you might be able to trade him for Terry McLaurin, Ricky Pearsall. You know, these are all names I'd probably rather have than Deebo Samuel. Now, if you can't get those, perfectly fine hanging on to Deebo Samuel. But I think based off this week 1, you might be able to sell high.
All right. We're going to take a tangent here. You mentioned DK Metcalf, and that ties into the Pittsburgh Steelers. Rodgers threw for 4 touchdowns, Wyatt. Are you buying or selling? Not that Rodgers is, 4 touchdowns every week, but is he back?
Not back, but he's certainly better than he was last year, based on that game. Possible streaming QB. I'll give him that, based on that. Also, like Arthur Smith let him do more Aaron Rodgers things than I was sure he would let him do. This isn't a pure Arthur Smith offense. There's obviously some Aaron Rodgers influence here going on, which is honestly probably for the best.
Probably for the best, yes.
So that's good. But yeah, I mean, we're not going to get 4 touchdowns every week. That's definitely not happening. But yeah.
Kenneth Gainwell is Cordell Patterson 2.0.
Wild stuff.
That's great. All right. We're going to shift to the Minnesota Vikings and running back Jordan Mason. This is a player that I am trading for. This was a player that, I'm a big Aaron Jones proponent. He was clearly the passing down. Aaron Jones was clearly the passing down back. That's his skill set. He is a dynamic downfield type of guy. We saw the touchdown that McCarthy threw him 25 yards down the field. Like he was almost in the end zone by the time he caught the ball on that wheel route or whatever you want to call it. Like it was pretty much a wheel route. Jordan Mason, though, handled the carries and he handled them efficiently. He was 15 for 68. 4.5 yards a carry. We'll take that. He's bound to fall into the end zone. So I'm not worried about the 0 touchdowns. And they were 13th in team run plays last week. Like as long as they may play it a little conservatively. We talked about JJ McCarthy earlier. The Vikings may play it a little bit more conservatively, especially at the start of the year, to give McCarthy some time, some breathing room. So yeah, like I want Jordan. It's clear that they want to involve both backs, and this is a good offense. So yeah, I think Jordan Mason getting between 13 and 18 carries a game, I think that's going to be within the range of outcomes pretty much every week.
Yeah, I like Jordan Mason. I did not expect him to get that share of the rushing right away. I thought it was going to be a little bit closer than that, but he basically is their primary rusher based on that game. What are you trading for Jordan Mason? Because I want him on my teams.
Sure.
I'm thinking like if you need a running back and you're trying to go find one that you can buy low on, you're probably not trading a running back to go get it. So I'm thinking like if you're looking good at wide receiver and you're trying to move over to him, I think that's a potentially move to make. Like, can you send Quentin Johnston after week 1?
I think I'd rather have Mason, but I also
can you do that? That's my question.
Out of week 1, Quentin Johnston looked good. Like he looked like they schemed him.
He still body catches everything.
Jim Harbaugh, though, the coach speak index has been just propping up Jim Harbaugh and Quentin Johnston's love affair. So, he's got the coach in the back pocket. He's done nothing but uphold what he did last year. He had some spike weeks, especially at the end of the year. The Chargers have been more pass heavy recently. of course, in week 1, but also they ramped up their passing a little bit more as the season went on in 2024. And so you look at a player who is downfield threat, who catches balls in the end zone. Like, yeah, I think you can get Jordan Mason for Quentin Johnson. I think that's fair.
Yeah, I would definitely try to do something like that.
All right. We foreshadowed it earlier. You like Michael Pittman. Do you also like Daniel Jones?
I don't like Daniel Jones that much. I do think that he can be fairly good for Shane Steichen in this Colts offense, like a Gardner Minshew plus, basically what Gardner Minshew was for them, a little bit better than that, because I think Daniel Jones is better than Gardner Minshew.
Sure.
But boy, did they have an incredible week against the Dolphins, and I don't expect that to continue. And if there's anybody out there who is now thinking like, oh, Daniel Jones is my QB now, I wonder what you can get for him. This is going to be more Superflex league based, because Daniel Jones wasn't rostered in a lot of 1 QB leagues. In fact, in 1 QB leagues, I could argue that he's a buy in the way that maybe you should have picked him up. Because he's just free off the wire. But in Superflex leagues, this is kind of a how high up the ladder can you get to with Daniel Jones now, or is there a skill position player that you can get that you couldn't before because of that performance? Like Daniel Jones or Jared Goff, because of Jared Goff's bad opening week.
Oh, yeah, Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones vibes are bad with the Lions. Also, I've been soft fading the Lions all offseason, and what happens? What happens?
But that's where he's starting to reach, right? Like now, those are the conversations we have to have.
Love it.
And once we start getting up there, like Daniel Jones or Geno Smith, like I'm heavy on Geno Smith there. Geno Smith also had a good opening week, so maybe that's not the right one, but Michael Penix, like I would rather take the shot on Michael Penix. Is that something you can do? But then, like I said, if you're able to like work cross positionally now with Daniel Jones because of that in a super flex league, like how far up can you go at wide receiver? Can you get one of those like Devonta Smiths because of the bad week 1? Is something like that even possible? Maybe worth exploring. Maybe at running back, you're trying to go out and get one of these running backs before they fully break out, like maybe RJ Harvey, like we've talked about. Is that possible? Something like that. How far down the ladder can you go and still feel comfortable? Like I'm still probably trading him as far down as maybe Jordan Mason, like we were saying, if I need a running back. If I have 3 QBs and he's my 3rd QB, I'd be thinking about things like this at least.
Right, pivoting off of a different position and seeing what value you can extract. Steichen has just been drawn to these mobile quarterbacks. You remember he was the offensive coordinator for the Phillies, the Philadelphia Eagles back in the day when Jalen Hurts got his start, and then they draft Anthony Richardson, who is a 100th percentile athlete, and he just doesn't work out. But Daniel Jones has always been a rushing quarterback. He has that in his skill set. And so it's, we talk about floor being so low for Daniel Jones because he's not good at throwing the ball, but the ceiling exists when he can break off a 30-yard rush or
he's not good at throwing the ball past 10 yards. Inside of 10 yards, he's pretty good.
But are you worried about Josh Downs?
Yeah, but it's not a Daniel Jones thing. It's a Tyler Warren thing.
Right.
I think Tyler Warren just kind of ate his lunch, unfortunately, in the offense. I mean, like the
buy for sure.
The Colts offense is very RPO heavy, an RPO heavy offense. When that happens, the quarterback has to throw it to their first read off an RPO. If anyone is out there who doesn't quite understand what this means, basically the RPO is the run pass option, right? And the offensive line doesn't know what the QB is going to do. The QB has to decide based on the way the play opens up, like as soon as it starts. So the offensive line run blocks. Well, right. So if they take too long to pass, they've now got an illegal man downfield because the offensive line is run blocking. So the QB, it's running play or first read. Well, they started doing those first reads to Tyler Warren. And the other one, when they do it outside of Tyler Warren, it was to Michael Pittman. It's not to Josh Downs, who's not out there on 2 wide receiver sets. So he kind of just became the odd man out because of Warren.
Yeah, Downs only about a 50% snap share in week 1. That's not going to get it done. Downs was a very risky pick in fantasy this summer, and it is not paying off. Yikes. We're going to loop it back. I've got one more player. Wyatt's got one more player. Make sure you guys are smashing the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. You're hitting the likes, putting the comments in. We answered a lot of the trade questions. Wyatt and I have been giving you trade targets, players to trade for or trade away entering week 2. My final player to be trading for. And this is like maybe it's a buy high situation. I don't care. However, because I look at a variety of different places, Wyatt, and the ranking for Breece Hall is all over the place entering week 2. His pricing is still very achievable. Some places, yeah, he's a bit expensive, but he's the real deal. He finished as a top 10 running back in week 1, despite getting vultured by Braylon Allen. He is that talented, and this is where I want to go get Breece Hall. I want to make sure he's on my team. The consolidated offense is it's Fields, it's Hall, and it's Garrett Wilson, and that is it. And they looked good in week 1. Great. There's no reason to think it's not going to continue. That consolidation, I think, secures Breece Hall, and he's always been supremely talented. Just been associated with such a mess of the Jets for a long time that he's been easy to fade, and fade no longer. Go get yourself some Breece Hall.
Oh yeah, big time. Love Breece Hall. Not really surprised that he was very good and that he handled the majority of the opportunities. I also want to clarify, he technically didn't even get vultured because basically he was getting the opportunities on that drive, caught a 30-yard pass, got a run directly after that, and then they gave him a rest basically. and then Braylon Allen immediately ran in the 8-yard touchdown. But Breece Hall was getting goal line carries after that. It's not like this is once they're getting that close, they're putting in Braylon Allen. It was a matter of that drive where Breece Hall just needed a breather at that moment. That's all. So yeah, wheels up for Breece Hall. Buy high. I don't care. Top 10 running back rest of the season.
Oh, easy peasy. Evan Ringler, our head of analytics, sent me a list of running backs to he was like, give me some feedback on rest of season rankings for Breece Hall. And I was like, Evan, you're just too low on Breece Hall. Move his butt up the rankings. Get him up there. Come on, Evan. We believe in you. So yes, I've been just pounding the table for Breece Hall, and yeah, we need Breece Hall on our squads. Wyatt, bring us home. Who is your last player that you must either trade for or trade away?
This is Travis Etienne, and this is another trade away. First, I want to say I was impressed by Travis Etienne in week 1. I think some credit has to be given to Liam Cohen's running offenses, which seem to be very good. He seems to be able to craft very good running schemes. Credit to Etienne, as I said, for what he did. I'll note that 50-yard run. Etienne 2 years ago scores on that play. Okay. Etienne this year does not score on this play. He does, not quite have as much juice as he did in the past, but he's still a solid running back, I would say. But part of this is that I'm a believer in Bashal Tutin, and I think Bashal Tutin is coming. Also, we've got
full
Allen.
Tutin ahead.
We also have LaQuint Allen, who's playing third downs, which is
is
another thing that gets in the way of Travis Etienne's actual fantasy ceiling. So, what can you get for Travis Etienne based on week 1? That's that conversation, right?
But Wyatt, they just traded away Tank Bigsby,
which might be a feather in your cap for trying to get him off your team, because people could see this as this massive thing for Etienne when really Bigsby was not affecting Etienne in week 1.
No,
it's non-factor in what Etienne's outlook looks like rest of the season. So, yeah. Can you get RJ Harvey for Travis Etienne? Because I would do that. Can you get Trevion Henderson? Because I would do that in a heartbeat.
Oh, heartbeat.
We could talk about Kenneth Walker. I think that one's a little bit closer now, but I think I'm still going for Kenneth Walker. So, yeah.
Yeah, give me Ken Walker.
Use this big week 1 performance on Travis Etienne. See what you can get. If you need a wide receiver instead, go ahead on over there. Can you get a top 24 wide receiver for Etienne? Probably not. Top 36, maybe. Can you get Jacoby Myers when you need a wide receiver on your team? I would do that.
Oh yeah, easy click.
So, yeah,
love it. Travis Etienne, Kenneth Walker, Harold Fannin, Deebo Samuel, Daniel Jones, Travis Hunter, Tet McMillan, Hollywood Brown, Jordan Mason, Brees Hall. It's been the man. It's the machine. It's Bradley. It's Wyatt.
The man. I'm the machine!
Make sure you guys are checking out Man vs. Machine every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern on the Player Profiler Now network. Until next time, everyone, good luck in week 2 and making all your trades.